Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This bench seat I found in the back shed with original Datsun seat belts sitting on it. My grandfather intended to put it in this truck, from what I can gather from that, but he never did it. Instead, we have these seats in here, which they are comfortable. And they do, I think they slide forward a little bit. They can go right up to the dash, but it's fine where it is. I like bench seats a lot more than these type of seats. So I want to put this back in the Datsun. It is not an original seat. I know that because it does not fit the pattern of what an original seat should for that truck. But it does fit in there because I've tried to do it before. The truck is 5 feet wide, and I think this is like 4 feet, 4'6", I think. So it will fit in there. I just have to make brackets for it. So to start off, I'm gonna have to start taking measurements of how far across it is from bolt to bolt, front to back, and I think the height too. So I'll be back when I get those measurements written down. I got the measurements written down. I think all that I need, just saying where the bolts are for each seat. And I even drew out a little bracket here, what a design could be like. These were intended to be bolts, I'm just not an artist. But it has to go 1 inch across, 1.5 inches up, another inch across to match the holes from the old seat to the bench seat. Because the bench seat sits a little lower from where it mounts. So I have to raise it by 1.5 inches. And I have to stretch the brackets out because the bench seat, where the bolts are, in total it's 4 inches wider than the old seats. So I just have to make it go out by 2 inches each time for both sides, and that should be fine. So I went ahead and picked out some metal for what I can make the brackets out of. It's relatively strong stuff, so I'm hoping that'll be strong enough. But before I start making brackets and start wasting metal, I want to make cardboard brackets to fit the description of what I had written down over there. But before I do that, I think I'm gonna just take both of these seats out in order to fit the bench seat in, so I can just start building stuff up, make sure I don't get anything wrong. So I'll be back when these seats are out. The first seat is out, and I forgot how hard it was to take these off. It's not a fun job, especially because Grampy decided to put like the wrong size bolts in the holes, as well as like mismatched pieces together, so a lot harder than I expected. I only got one bolt out. The chair's over here. There's bolt 1, 2, and 3. I cannot get those out. The holes he drilled for the railings he made right here, they're not big enough, so the bolts are just threaded into those, and I can't. Okay, well that one can move. The other ones, I can't even take them off of a wrench. So at least one of these is out. It's a lot more spacious in here when there's only one seat. But now I have to go over and do the next one. Now that both seats are out, I'm left with a much more spacious cabin, but a lot more of a mess. That's a mix of stuff that I either didn't take out from when Grampy had it, or just put in recently. This is a conversion sheet, kilometers to miles, because this has an imperial speedometer, but I'm in Canada, so everything's metric. So I don't need that anymore. I forgot to take that out. Knife that was under the seat, and just a lot of rope. And all of these are the shift knobs too. Original Datsun one. This one is just half of fire poke. But now that the seats are out, I have to clean all of this, so I'll be back when it's all cleaned out. I got everything cleaned out, sorted through a little bit of stuff, and put a few things into these rear bags here. So that cleaned up a lot of stuff, and I also vacuumed just to get rid of some of the dirt and rocks and stuff. So now I have to get the bench seat in, but I can't get it in from right here, so I have to move this outside. And I think what would be fun would be driving this over to the big door here so that I can just kind of pick that up, move it right in, then drive it back in. So I'm gonna do that now. Let's see if I can drive with one hand. Shouldn't be hard, it's pretty much a straight shot. And you're sitting a lot higher than I am, so I'm sitting on the floor. I can barely see over the steering wheel. Oh. And we're here. Yeah, this is head level with me right now. This is what I see. So, I can barely even read the speedometer from here. And I was keeping you up here. This is already above my head level. So, that was a fun little ride. But now I'm just going to shimmy the bench seat in and I'll be back. Bench seat is in and I think it's looking pretty good. It fits the truck a lot more, that's for sure. There's that little rip in the seat, but I think overall it fits really well. And best part is now I can do this. And I can access all of the stuff I need to. It feels about the same sitting inside. I think I feel a little lower down to the ground. But even then, it's not like a bad feeling or anything. It still feels pretty good. So now I'm just going to bring it back into the garage and I'll be back when I'm back in. I'm back inside the garage and I still think this looks really good. It fits pretty well, and before I started filming, I stuck two 1.5 inch wood blocks under each side. So there's one there and there's one on the other side. There's not really a point in showing it, same thing. Anyways, but that's the height. That's about the height I need to make the brackets. Because under here, notice how that actually clears the transmission housing, or the transmission tunnel. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can kind of see it. Anyway, it didn't do that before, so I do need to have 1.5 inches minimum of a height boost. But I think the next step is just figuring out what type of mount I can even make for that, because I thought it was going to be a lot different, but I thought it was just going to come straight out this way. I didn't realize it was going to be diagonal, so I'm going to have to figure out a different design for a bracket I can make. And I think, yeah, it's the hole down there, so they're about the same. It's just I have to shift them to the side now. So I'm going to figure out a design for that, maybe take a few more measurements, and I'll be back when I have something. It's the next day, and I did a little bit of research last night about this seat. I searched up an interior for one of these trucks, a 521 Datsun. And apparently, this is the original seat. I found a picture. It had a bench seat, like they all did. But the hinge mechanism was the exact same way. It had a bolt on this side. And if I jump over, this side has just a pin. And I was looking at them. All of the ones in the pictures also had this to adjust the seat. They had the same little sliders here too. So this is just a reupholstered... Oh. Well, there's the original seat right under there. I can't believe I didn't notice that. The original seat is literally just under this, so this is the seat cover. Well, that doesn't really help much, but at least I know it's an original seat for this. And I also figured out something else. The little sliders under here. I was just an idiot when I was thinking yesterday, but I get to line these up and then I can just slide the seat back when it's all bolted together. So I'm just gonna go and get a little mount ready so I can just kind of hook some stuff up. I just finished building the first mount. Very, very simple design. It's just a piece of square steel. The rest is over there propped up by the chair. And I just drilled 2 holes for it. This one is for the floor mount, and this one's for the bottom of the seat because I had to move it over a little bit. If I come in here, turn on my light, it fits. It should line up perfectly. I just finished measuring it, and it's not dropping down because that wood block is still under there, as well as all of the hardware. But I think that's a fairly decent mount, and it's really thick metal too. So I don't have any worries about that breaking or tearing or anything. So I think that's good. And now I just have to build 3 more of these. So I'll be back when I either get the next one done or when I finish all of them. The first 2 brackets are finished and installed. Right up here is the first one. There's the second one I made. They're in there pretty tight. It's very hard to get the hardware into there, but it's possible. So that's sturdy now. It shakes the entire truck, and I can't pull up on it. And I think it's a good height in here. It feels about natural. This is head level. So I think it's pretty good. And now I just have to do the other side. I haven't made the brackets yet. I've only made, well, these. I just cut them out. I haven't drilled any of the holes. I still have to measure where they have to go, but once I get that done, it's just a matter of getting the hardware I need and bolting it right on. So I'll be back when those are done. Both mounts on this side of the truck are done now, meaning the seat is fully in. Looks a lot different from the back, being able to see through fully. Can finally use all of the window, and I can actually clean all of the window. I don't know. There's a little bit of a rectangle just on the window where I haven't been able to clean it. But I think this looks pretty good. It matches the truck a lot more, I think. And I can also do this now. Flip that forward and I have all my storage back here. I just put some of my stuff back in. So, and sitting inside, it feels pretty good. Very cushiony, kind of like a couch. I still have to patch this up, but for now it's good because it's over on my side, so I can just be a little more careful by it. I'm going to put a sponge underneath and just patch it up. It's very blue in here now, more than it was before. But that's perfectly fine. I think it looks pretty good. I'm very happy with how it is. And this was supposed to be a 1 or 2 day project. It took me all of this weekend, of Easter weekend. So Took a little longer than expected, but at least it's done now, because I've been wanting to do this for pretty much as long as I've had this truck and found this seat. So, glad it's all back together. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.